Hey everyone, Karl G Larsen here. In this video, we're going to talk about how to eat healthy when you travel so you don't fall apart and have to restart every single time you travel. Stay tuned. Okay, here we go guys. Karl G Larsen here. So excited to be with you this morning. I just got done working out and I had this topic that's been on my mind that I wanted to share with you guys because it's happening this weekend for me, and that is how to eat healthy when you travel. For some weird reason, it seems like I always get these ideas when I am working out. And so this morning I was doing my yoga class, which I do frequently, and my mind was just rolling with things, probably with the opening up, with getting the physical body and the mind connected and energized for the day. But really this topic came up into my head and I was like, okay, I need a plan and I need to get ready and prepare for this weekend. So really quickly guys, here's what my travel schedule looks like this weekend, and maybe you can listen to this from perspective of, okay, when is the next time you're traveling? And maybe make a note of taking the strategies we're going to take in this video, or we're going to talk about in this video, and apply them to when you are going to travel next. Because a lot of times what happens, and this, all of the people that I work with, not all of them, but a lot of the people that I work with, right, of the thousands of people, they have events, they travel, whether it's a holidays, whether it's a business, whether it's a family vacation, whether it's going to see a friend, you know, 100 other reasons there could be for traveling. But a lot of times when we travel, people always say it's really tough to eat healthy. How do I eat healthy? How do I not fall off my plan? Because if you fall off for a few days, you feel bad about it and you're not as motivated to keep going, and all of a sudden a few days turns into a week, turns into 2 weeks, and they're back to where they started and they're frustrated and upset and almost lost the motivation to keep going after their wellness goal. And so we don't want that to happen to you. And it's not going to happen to you if you take what we're going to talk about today and apply it every single time you travel. Okay? It's not rocket science. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of energy, a little bit of effort. But let me tell you this, the people that I've worked with that have used this strategies, they have done extremely well. These are the strategies that I use every single time that I travel. We just took a week-long vacation, kind of 3/4 of it was for family. We were on the beach in California hanging out, having fun. And then, you know, part of that was work. We had a weekend worth of work, but for the most part, it was just kind of relaxing and fun. And there was definitely some preparation that went into that trip. A lot of times when you don't think about things and all of a sudden you're in the moment, in the environment, it's tough to follow through with what your intention is or with what you've said you've wanted in the past. So for example, if you wanted to lose 10 pounds and all of a sudden you're sitting in a restaurant on vacation, you're like, hey, it's vacation, this is great. And all of a sudden you eat and drink maybe what you wouldn't have normally, and it starts to throw you off track. So anyways, let's get into it right now, guys. Let's talk about how you get ready for your travels and stay on track. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do to get ready to eat healthy when you travel is this, is you need to have a plan. Now, that maybe seem like common sense, right? But let me tell you something. Common sense isn't always commonly used, right? A lot of people know stuff, but they don't follow through for whatever reason. Planning your trip, right? You couldn't just travel like my wife and I and our son, we couldn't just travel to California for a week without planning it. Planning the hotel where we're staying, planning the flights when we're leaving, when we're getting back, planning transportation from the hotel or from airport to the hotel and back, right? Planning, okay, once we're there, if we want to go do something, how are we going to get around? So you had to have a game plan for the trip. Right? You always have to do this no matter where you're going. You got to bring the right clothes, you got to bring the right underwear, you got to bring the right pants, right? There's all these different things. You got to bring your toothbrush and toothpaste so you don't have bad breath, right? All these things. So you have to have a plan. Now, one thing to start including into your plan when you travel is to eat healthy. How are you going to eat healthy and stay on track? And a lot of the times what we'll do is we will think about, okay, day number 1, we are actually driving to the airport. We're going to be in the airport. We're going to be on the plane or landing. Okay, so that's kind of our schedule for the day. Now, I always think, okay, how am I going to incorporate my healthy snacks and meals into that plan? So being as that we travel frequently, you know, I know the airport has certain kiosks and certain restaurants that I can go to that have what I need to stay on track. Now the challenging part is just to make that decision in the moment, but if maybe you're not super familiar with your airport or don't travel enough to really have the commonalities or the things that you've used in the past, then you need to make a plan. So literally, okay, what time am I driving there at? What am I going to eat for breakfast? When am I going to have my first snack? Right? How is that going to fit into the travel plan of the day? right? When am I going to have lunch? How does that fit into the travel plan? Is it going to be on the plane? Is it going to be in the airport? Is it going to be after we land? Or even, okay, now we're going to have your afternoon snack and your dinner, right? So how are those going to fit into your schedule for the day? And really think about that and where you're going to be at and what the environment's going to be. And number one, do you need to bring something with? And number two, if you don't need to bring something with, what are you going to eat? Okay, so that's the first thing. You got to come up with a plan for eating healthy throughout your trip. And I would do that for each day of your trip. Think ahead of what you guys are going to be doing, and you should be set. Now, if you don't have a plan, if you go on vacation where it's totally wide open, you do whatever you want, that's awesome. Then I would bring with certain things to support you throughout that time frame. So, for example, you may bring with a few boxes of protein bars that you really like, that keep you staying on track, keep your macronutrients in balance, all these things, right? Bring those protein bars with, so when you have a free schedule, you can always lean on those for a healthy snack and you know you're staying on track. Or a lot of times I'll make a smoothie in the morning, a meal replacement smoothie, and I can bring those powders with me when I travel. So if you have a travel day or a week where you just have no schedule, then maybe you bring the powders and the ingredients you would need to make that smoothie in the morning there, right? So think about these things, guys, when you're making your plan, and then it's way easier to stay on it when you have your plan in place. If you don't have a plan in place, you're just kind of shooting from the hip and you don't know what's going to happen. So the second thing is to prep. So I kind of naturally just covered the prep and the plan portion of it, but once you figure out what your plan is and what your schedule's like and where you're going to be at and how you're going to eat, then you got to prep what you're going to bring. So I just mentioned protein bars. That's prepping for protein bars would literally be like, for day number one for your travel, take your box, put it in your suitcase, check, got those, right? And then maybe you know, okay, I'm going to need 3 of those for the actual first day of travel as I'm working through the airport, as we're checking in, getting on the flight, landing, right? So those are going to be my go-to meals or go-to snacks for my travel day, so I know I'm staying on track, okay? Or let's say that there's a certain type of food that you really like that you can, package up, put it in a little container. Well, make the food, bring it with, put it in your container. Maybe you're not flying, maybe you're just driving somewhere. So then bring a little lunchbox with you, prepared with the food that you want for the day, and then as you're traveling and driving, you can just snack and eat your meals that are already prepared. So you got to prep the food and package it and transport it and bring it with. Now, I know this seems like common sense, guys, but most people don't do this. Most people just get up and go, and all of a sudden they're sitting in the airport or they're in their car and they're starving and they're just like ravished looking for something to eat. And so what they find typically doesn't help them move forward in their goals. So prepping is huge. Having a plan, prepping it, bringing it with you, right? The third part of this natural progression of how to eat healthy when you travel is execution. So once you plan it, execute, I think that's how you spell it. We'll go with it regardless. Then you got to execute your plan. Plan it, you got to prep it, bring it with, but then you're going to be in the moment like I was just talking about, like in the car with your cooler. You're going to be in the moment and you have it ready because you prepped it. Now you need to execute it. Now it comes down to the moment of, you said you're going to eat your morning snack at 10 a.m. and you brought a protein bar with, then you need to eat your protein bar, right? And not see a fast food place that are like, oh, that would be so much better, or see a gas station where you pick up something random. Follow your plan. So many people do not finish what they say they're going to do. There is a science to finish it, guys. I mean, literally, if you can finish what you commit to, you will go so far in life and so far in your wellness, you have no idea, right? Success, 50% of it is just showing up. Some people have said up to 80% of success is just showing up, which means in this case, executing what you say you're going to do. So plan it, prep it, execute in the moment. And the last thing you need to do is you need to reflect on the experience. Now, why do you need to reflect on the experience? First of all, let me say, you always need to reflect on what you're doing every single day. You need to reflect on how the last day went, how the last week went, how the last month went. If we never take time and slow down to think about what we've done and ask the questions, did it work? Did I do some things that I could improve? Did I make some mistakes that I need to own up to and just realize and be okay with it and move forward? Are there people that I can talk to that would give me ideas on how to improve this, right? Or how to improve XYZ topic over the last time frame, over the last 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, right? So reflecting on what you've done and asking yourself, did it work? How well did it work? Can I improve it? How can I improve it? Who can help me improve it? All of these things, guys, will basically like sharpen your tool of efficiency. And the more efficient you get, the faster things happen and the easier they happen. So taking time to really reflect and think about how you can improve things is going to be huge for you. So if you travel, let's say this weekend for me, I'm driving about 2.5 hours to some business events that we have going on. And I'm going to plan it, I'm going to prep it, I'm going to execute on my plan. But then on Sunday night, when we're on our way home or when we get back, I'm going to think about, okay, what went well? What didn't go well? Did I do what I said I was going to do? Did something unknown pop up that I need to be aware of for next time so I can, have that expectation that maybe this might happen and know how to deal with it, right? But reflection is huge, and then you just repeat the process. Just because you're traveling, just because it's the holidays, just because you have a business trip, just because you're going on vacation, it doesn't mean you have to go back. So many people, like, I got a vacation in 60 days, so I need to get sexy. And great, but when that vacation is over or once you get there, then what happens? Then the mindset changes for a lot of people and they start doing what they did before and fall back to where they were, typically worse. We want to stop this yo-yo cycle of preparing for an event. Once the event's over, you're done. We want to incorporate the healthy, active lifestyle and live it every single day. So you have the energy every single day to go out and accomplish what you were put on this earth to accomplish, whatever that is for you. That's my tip for the day, guys. I hope this helps. Put a comment below if you have some examples or some wins or successes or questions on how to do this. I'd love to help further. And with that, guys, you can check me out more at my website, karlglarsen.com. That's Karl with a K, Larsen with an E-N. Or make sure to visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/Karl G Larsen fans. So with that, we're going to check out. Hope this helps, guys. We will talk to you soon. And next time you travel, take this and use it because it's going to work.